Hello and welcome back for this series of reviews nobody has asked for. I'm still stuck in this fucking franchise. Oh my god, I said that word within the first 10 seconds. It's gonna get demonetized. Nobody's gonna watch this. Welcome to the review that nobody's watching. I'm John Stark from BackTheMovieGuy.com. It's spooky season, and there's still more paranormal activity. I'm still playing with flashlights, and we're stuck in the fucking ghost dimension. This movie, they really made me work for it. I, I really had to work for this franchise. I had a lot of good ideas, guys, for this spooky season. I started out, I was like, everybody used to do campfire and creepy voices and tell spooky stories. And I was like, I could do that. I'm blind and I'm not good at video editing. And I don't have any background music playing. But I can do this voice. And I can do a flashlight. And I can watch scary movies. And then I was like, what franchises are fully audio described? And I got through the Child's Play franchise. And then I did the Paranormal franchise. But damn it, this thing is all over the place. The first, all the way through Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, they're all on Max. Then I had to jump to fucking MGM Plus for the Ghost Dimension. And then to Paramount Plus for Next of Kin. I almost forgot this movie existed because it didn't even make sense. I was like, whoa, what? Why is it on MGM? Why is this the one Paranormal? Why are they all over the place? This is why you have to have multiple subscriptions to streaming services. Oh god. Anyway, this movie has audio description. I want to say it's Adrian Barbeau. I didn't make it to the credits. I'm so sorry. This movie's terrible, and I wanted to get out of it. Actually, I wanted to get out of it while I was watching it. It's funny too because it aggressively from the top of the film, it has zero chill. This film has zero chill. It's this is one of those movies where you could be walking in a few minutes late and shit's already happening. And you're like, did I miss the movie? How much did I miss? And then your friend's like, nah, it just started. You're like, but there's already shit happening. And you're like, yeah, I know. I don't think I've ever sat down and used the term try hard on a movie before. When people use that term and they're like, oh, you're such a try hard, because it's always well, isn't that a good thing? And it's well, sometimes this is what that means, is it's no, it means you're trying too hard. You're doing too much. I thought some of the other films had already sort of lost that sheen of, believability in found footage. That was gone. It's out the window. There are a lot of times where somebody's holding a camera and you're like, why are you still filming? Make it make sense. Why are you still filming this? Why are you even in this house? And they're I love how they keep trying to eventually they find somebody and they're like, oh, it'll follow you. Did you try? At least here they fucking try. They went to a hotel. Some of the other films, they just stay in the house. I'm like, well, I guess we're defeated because it's gonna follow us. I don't know. So the Ghost Dimension is the most aggressively stupid version of Paranormal Activity. It's the one that doesn't even feel it's listen, you've been through this franchise a bunch of times, and we're just gonna start showing you shit. We're just gonna be really obvious about it. So it has floating ghost particles the whole time. They're these weird amorphous shapes that keep happening that they see on film. They're like, what is that? What is that? And there's this white light blob thing that's staring over their child's bed, and they're like, I don't know. So weird. What's on camera? I don't know. Do you see it? But they can't see it with their eyes, but it's being picked up on film. And of course, if this franchise keeps going, they're gonna be, I swear to God, they're gonna be in space. They're gonna have like astronauts who are like haunted by Katie, and Katie's gonna appear in space and be like, remember, we haunt the person, not the place. I know you thought you could be an astronaut, but I'm still here, bitch. Paranormal Activity in space. Get that camera out. Let's do a found footage movie. God damn, this is dumb. They're still tying it back into Katie, even after the last film, even after I feel like the marked ones was not well received, and they were like, I don't know, why was it not well received? I don't know, maybe because you actually finally had a completely different story for the first time, and then you found a way to draw it back into the original Paranormal Activity film. Cool. Here they're like, well, what if we do that again? And it's like nobody's ever stopping them. Nobody's ever like, could we just make like a different Paranormal Activity? Is it possible? Is it possible to do that? To make a film that doesn't feel like I mean, has Katie Featherstone had a career other than playing herself in this fucking movie over and over and over and over again? I don't think so. I think she's just stuck in the paranormal hell. So, from the first movie, at least, you know what would have been a nice change up? Tying it into like Micah. And been like, ooh, we actually had a master plan the whole time. And now we're going to go into Micah's backstory. Like, no, God, it's like Hunter and there's Toby, and you're just like, what the hell? I do not like this movie, said Sam. I do not like Green Eggs and Ham. Yeah, it's is it scary? It tries to be. However, there's nothing you haven't seen before. So, and it goes too far aggressively. They're like, they have the little girl, and she has these scenes where she supposedly is creepy, and there's like a scene where she's like clawing at the wall. I feel like she actually like aged throughout the course of the film. I feel like at one point in the movie she's like too young, and she acts really young, and then later on in the film she's like having like her acting gets better and more adult and grown up, and I'm like, did you change child actresses? You know, they even make a comment about how they're like, she's 3 feet tall. She doesn't even know what a VHS player is. You know, it's like, how old is your kid? Like, at one point I thought she was in a crib, and then she's like, it's not like a child's bed or something like that. Anyway, I couldn't even follow because she seemed to be able to do a wide range of things. And she has these like drawings later on in the film that are like of demons, and they like find these. I'm like, oh my God, are we gonna end up seeing that? Oh fuck, of course we are. You know, these demon creatures pop out towards the end of the movie, so they totally use the FX budget on that. They're like, oh wow, we have officially summoned Toby. Man, that's what Toby looks like, guys. He looks nothing like a human. He's been bamboozling everybody for the last 5 films. So tentacles happen, and like there's a tentacle that like shoots through one of the guys. It's just like, what are we doing? What are you doing here? Are you trying to kill this franchise? Like, I feel like Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension, was made by a bunch of idiots who were like aggressively trying to kill the franchise. Like, they looked at Paranormal Activity, the marked ones, and they were like, oh, people didn't like that. What are we gonna do? I don't know. Well, we're already shooting Ghost Dimension, so I guess we have to keep going in the aggressively stupid path that every other film has done before us, and just keep getting worse. And then wait for somebody to reboot us later on, which they do with Next of Kin, which doesn't get any better, by the way. This is... I hate this movie. But I could say that about really like the last... like every paranormal movie except 2. And I had that feeling about Paranormal Activity when the reason why I never watched the sequels, and I've only seen the first one, I've actually seen the first one a couple times, is because I was like, well, with 2, from that point on, it's like, you know that they're acting because they're sequels. And it's like the only way that it works is if you make it feel like it's a new situation, a new set of characters, and that the found footage thing works. But it's hard to do that when the original movie had a $10,000 budget and you're giving these people like millions of dollars to shoot a found footage looking movie. And you have to find actors who are not really actors, which is what the first film did so well, is that they found two people who, you know, were actually really pretty good at what they did. You know, give full credit given, considering I've seen some really shitty, like low budget movies that end up on Tubi with really atrocious acting. Those two were actually pretty good finds for a found footage movie. But at the same time, it's hard to like find actors who are not Meryl Streeping it, but they're also not just like painfully reading dialogue. You know, it has to feel real. And the Oren Peli pulled that off with the first movie. And then later on, it's like nobody else even, they don't even care. They're just like, oh, I got $10 million making a Paranormal Activity movie. It's like that. You've missed the point. You have missed the point of why this franchise ever existed in the first place, is because it felt real, which is what Blair Witch Project felt like. That's why it existed, is because people actually believed those three people went into the woods and died. So if you can make people believe it's real, then you have them. But nobody believes that this is real. Nobody is ever going to watch Paranormal Activity, the Ghost Dimension, and mistake it for a, oh my God, this really happened. Did you see Ghost Dimension? I feel that's a true story. That really happened. That family. Nobody's going to watch this film and feel that. So, yeah, it's a complete waste of time. But I don't know. I feel like they all kind of get aggressively stupid. But I hated this one the most because it was trying to do the most. It was having these blobs, and it has these demon faces that pop out, and then it shows a full fucking demon at the end of the film, and it's got, you know, they try to do this. It's one of those things. It's like The Deliverance, where it's like, it's not an exorcism, it's a deliverance. And what do you call it? It's like, it's not an exorcism, it's an extermination. It's like, God, it's like they don't want to make an exorcist movie, so they have to do something else. So yeah, they try this extermination. It just goes horribly wrong. And they find all these tapes. Now, that was the one thing that was cool. The one thing, and the reason why you're like, John, you seem to hate this movie viciously. And why is that enough? And I was like, why is it not enough? Well, I'll tell you, because the one thing that I thought was kind of cool was when they, and I hate the fact that they're tying it together, but if you're going to do it, which is something that the other films haven't done very well, and they've done it kind of clunkily, I thought that videotape scene where they were watching the videotape, which was like describing what they were currently doing at that moment, I thought that was effective. And it goes a little bit too far with that kind of stuff. And they're like, wait a minute, so Hunter was born in, but he's the same age, but he's in 1992. How'd he get there? You know, like everything is just like, they start getting into the lore a little bit too much. But man, watching a videotape that you're like, yeah, this videotape was made in 1988. Oh my God, it's describing me right now. That would be scary as shit. So yeah, like that is a cool concept to put on the camera. And that's it. That's like the one thing. That's the one good idea they had. They're like, what if they were watching all of these shitty videotapes, but then somehow, even though it doesn't make any sense, it was describing them. And they're like, but wait a minute, this videotape was made like 20 years ago. How did it know? Good question. Follow that rabbit hole instead of this weird ass rabbit hole with this like seven-eyed demon. Anyway, so most of this is dog shit. There's a cool concept that's in there for like 5 seconds, but I can't recommend this movie on any level. Audio description wise though, because this film tries too hard, it does have more to describe. It has demon faces and demons and anthropomorphic blobs throughout the whole film. So the AD team had to work a lot harder. And it was really good at audio description. So like I said, I think it's Adrian Barbeau, and it feels like it was her voice. So I appreciate it. And kudos to the audio description team on making sense out of a film that doesn't make any. So, but I can't, in good conscience, tell anybody to watch this. I'm giving this a D. I feel like it's a solid D film. So, anyway, thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. I'll see you guys on the other side.